Well, let's see here. I might not be Morgan Freeman, but this is... Classic Gamer Reviews.
You see, there are some games out there that are broken, but still fun. Games that are bad, but can still manage to be an absolute blast. Ride to Hell Retribution is both broken and bad, but it fails to be fun or resemble anything close to a game, other than the fact that you put it into a game console. Instead, the whole thing is more of an ordeal, and throughout the whole game, it quickly becomes apparent that the only thing the game did get right was the title. Because this feels like a descent into fucking madness, or a Ride to Hell if you will. Originally meant as an open-world game, Ride to Hell Retribution eventually got reworked into an action shooter game, essentially taking what could have been a really cool game and squeezing it into a small pile of condensed crap. You play as Jake Conway, fresh back from fighting in Vietnam, but all is not well in your hometown of Dead End as the biker gang, the Devil's Hands, has a beef with your family. Shortly after you return home, your younger brother is murdered and Jake makes it his goal to avenge his brother. Which is kind of funny because it seems like he gives two shits less when his brother is getting beaten.
He's just a kid.
But anywho, thus starts your adventure. What could have been a cool story of vengeance is quickly brought down by the protagonist, Jake. In all honesty, Jake's character is one of the poorest acted out characters in gaming ever. Scenes that I assume should have been emotional are upright hilarious when Jake delivers such unforgettable performances, like when he finds out his uncle was murdered.
No! No! No!
My God! I can only wonder how this guy would react to real-life tragedy. Hello?
Yes, is this Chris?
Yeah, this is him.
Well, we regret to inform you that you have lung cancer.
No! 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 When Jake isn't looking for Dick...
I need to find King Dick. I just need to find King Dick. Where do I find King Dick?
Then he's more than likely banging a woman, and the women are about as well developed as a tree stump. Legit, if you see a girl in this game, then chances are you're going to have sex with her. Help this girl get her ring back?
You could get my ring, too.
Then you get to have sex with her. Help this young lady who has a boyfriend?
Overheard you talking about your boyfriend.
Well then, by golly, why not fuck her too? Hell, you save all these women and you get a group orgy.
Okay, girls. Who's ready for round 2?
Oh, you girls. Even the guys want in on it.
Listen, you give me something, I'll give you something.
Okay, that last one doesn't really happen, but legit, life doesn't work out like that. Trust me, I tried. So, now that I coached you through, fixing your computer, does, that mean we can have sex?
Ew, what the fuck? No.
I don't know what I did wrong. I followed everything the game told me to.
Bitches, man.
Point is, Jake is a one-sided sex-hungry character who's about as believable a person as an Atari character. And he looks about as good as one too.
You look like shit, Jake.
Yeah, I feel like shit, Mac.
In fact, pretty much everything looks like shit in this game.
Look for the fresh ink. I think I spelled his name right.
I mean, who cares if you got the spelling right? I can't see what it looks like anyway. Textures are always phasing in, and characters' jars moving are the equivalent of attaching a puppet's jar to a fucking plane propeller. The only thing that doesn't always look too awful in this game are some of the environments. The problem is, though, that most of the good-looking areas, like some of the huge, detailed cities and outdoor areas, feel awkward because they are randomly thrown in and you're only there for a few moments. parts. It's painfully obvious that they are a byproduct of when this game was Freeroam, but in a linear game, it just seems that they were thrown in to say, hey, we almost were a free-roam game. What makes this even more awkward is the fact that the game tends to avoid revisiting the good textured areas and instead revisits the more shitty ones. Equally shitty is the game's sound. More specifically, too much sound or too little. I mean, half the time in cutscenes, I can't even hear a goddamn word anyone is saying.
You think this is it?
What? Can you speak up?
It's locked. Why did you pick up?
What?
You heard the man.
No, I didn't. And then the other half of the time, the game is dead silent. It really is uncomfortable, and there's no medium either. The game is either blasting music down your eardrums, or it's just plain quiet. It also doesn't help that the music sucks. With the exception of one song, which, unlike the others, I almost sorta kinda didn't want to beat a small child after hearing. So if I had to make a trailer promoting this game, I guess I could, because I guess the last thing I said kinda was a compliment. This summer. Play the game, critics are saying, features a song that almost didn't make me want to beat a small child, and has a few environments that don't look like absolute crap. Play Ride to Hell, Retribution. It's like a descent into fucking madness. It's a trap, don't buy it! All of this though, the shit acting, the inconsistent, terrible graphics, and shitty sounds, could all be forgiven if the gameplay was good. But it's not. In fact, it makes the game even worse. The gameplay is broken into two parts, utterly broken and pure unfun, and sometimes there's a mix of the two. The utterly broken parts are brought to you by the game's many driving segments. The way your bike interacts with the environment is just terrible, often causing unrealistic movements. This is gonna happen a lot, seeing how basically every road in this game is undergoing construction and is littered with obstacles. Most of the obstacles aren't dangerous, as you just bounce off all of them, including roadblocks and even cars. But 9 times out of 10, when you do bounce off them, the game usually resets you onto the track, like it has no faith that you'll recover. Well, fuck you, game! Sometimes, however, that lack of faith can be well supported, as dodging shit that drives around like this can be a bit difficult. However, the worst obstacle I ran into was my character's ass. This was brought on more so by the terrible camera. This is not a problem a game from 2013 should be having, but Ride to Hell finds a way. The driving segments also have long, drawn-out slow motion parts, which go on for so long that I actually thought something was wrong with the game. Well, more so than there already is. I also hated when another enemy would appear and the game would force you back onto the road as if it was proud to show off its vehicle combat. As for the dull as fuck gameplay, it comes from when you're on foot. The game had some parts that I hated less than others, but for the most part, it's just a giant chore. One part of the game has you fighting in a competition in which I was able to win the whole thing simply by pressing the kick button again and again. Even using your gun isn't fun, as can be seen by this riveting shootout. Also, the AI blows. I mean, I've seen stupid enemies before in games, but Ride to Hell takes the cake, builds a fucking fortress around the cake, gets 24/7 armed guards surrounding the fortress, and so on and so forth.
Hello?
I literally think no game will ever get worse in terms of AI than this game. Enemies will literally get out of safe cover and run over to explosives that you throw. And this happened every time I threw an explosive. I mean, if the game was trying to evoke some emotion, I guess it would excel at making me feel remorse, as half the time I just felt plain bad killing the game's retarded enemies. Hell, even some of the bosses in the game weren't brain developed enough to not just simply drop explosives at their feet. The dumb enemies aren't limited to just the on-foot segments though. Enemies on bikes are plagued with questionable actions and come across stupid as shit. as some just rode around in circles doing absolutely nothing. As if the enemy's AI isn't painful enough for you, the game also throws in some shitty QuickTime events in both cutscenes and gameplay. In cutscenes, it's so simple that you literally don't even need to push a single button it tells you to. Okay, what? And in gameplay, it literally is shitty in every sense of the word. I mean, look at Jake starting out a QuickTime event and tell me it does not look like he's taking a shit. I could go on for hours about why this game fails. I literally have pages and pages of notes describing in agonizing detail what this game does wrong. Physics in general just break at some point, sending enemies flying off at Mach 10. Jake has epileptic episodes at some points, causing him to not even be able to aim his gun properly. Character models seem to be ripped off from other games. Enemies on bikes just randomly exploding, and the list goes on and on. The worst part of all of this, though, is that this hell goes on for about 20 hours. You see, sandbox games usually have large worlds and therefore long game length. But Ride to Hell seems to have forgot that it's no longer a sandbox game, and therefore you're subjected to a lengthy 20 hours of pure hell. In the grand scheme of things, E.T. for the Atari can only dream of being as bad as this game. It's not even worth picking up just to see how bad it is. It's a horrible, agonizing experience that truly has been one of the most painful experiences of my life. Hey everybody, I've got great news. I got partnered with TGN, and you know what that means. It means you should check out Jason Stevens' website by clicking the link in the description box. He provided the Morgan Freeman voice. It also means you should check out Freddie Sal's channel because he made the intro. Heck, it might even mean you should watch my previous video, or leave a comment and subscribe even.
Bitches, man.